Hey guys, welcome to another morning sim flight. Today we're in the Cessna 172 and it's a high wing aircraft, and it's just really cool in my opinion. I don't fly it in real life only because there's Pipers available, and Pipers are low wing aircraft, and they just have better flight characteristics, sort of like this Bonanza over here. Okay, so what today on the agenda today is once I get the avionics fired up, we're gonna do a short flight to northeast Philadelphia. So right now we're in November 14, which is Flying W Airport in Lumberton, New Jersey, and about 10 or 12 nautical miles away is northeast Philadelphia, just over the river, and we'll be landing on runway 14. It's a big controlled airspace. I want to do this flight because I plan on getting live ATC in the simulator, and I want to practice talking to ATC and practice talking on CTAF and whatnot. So it's one of my weaker points in real life aviation, so it's something that I wanted to do. This flight isn't super exciting. We're going to be taking off runway 1 this way. We'll take off this way, take off runway 1, make a left turn, fly over the creek to the Delaware River, and just over the river, about 2 miles or so, is northeast Philadelphia, and we'll be landing on runway 24. So it's basically take off runway 1. This is runway 19, and 24 is almost in this direction here. So we'll be doing it. It's a really quick flight, but I just wanted to go over the basics of flight and whatnot. But while all that being said, let's start the airplane. We're gonna open the fuel valve, and I have controls here on my desk that directly emulate these controls here, so I'll let you see what I'm doing on the screen as I do it. So we're going to do mixture full rich. We're going to bring the throttle back and crack it just a little bit. I'm going to move the trim wheel because I got a new trim wheel, and it's really sensitive, and I'm not liking it too much. We're going to make sure the flaps are up, set the parking brake, and turn the master switch on. Turn all our lights on, the beacon, the nav, the strobe. We'll do taxi, and but we're going to turn it off right now because we have a ground crew, and we don't want to blind them with our lights right now, because that is not a very good situation for them to be in, especially when an engine is about to start. So we're going to start the engine first. Normally, 152 or something like that, you would prime, but we're going to put the fuel pump on for 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4. Turn that off and turn the engine over. Okay, good start. We're going to bring the RPMs up to 1,000. You can see it right here. These are the RPMs. Bring it up just ever so slightly to 1,000. Good. And we'll turn the avionics on. So right here you can see that I have the flight plan in the we're going to zoom out. That's zooming in. We're going to zoom out. It's not ever so difficult. Like I said, we're just going to be flying straight there and landing sort of in this direction here. The main runway goes east to west there, but we're going to be landing on the one that goes not east to west, but we're going to be landing on the one that goes east to west. So really simple flight. I'm not going to use any autopilot or anything like that, but it's going to be pretty simple. But I just want to get reacquainted with the aircraft, reacquainted with the flight characteristics and whatnot. So, without further ado, let's get started. Because I do have to go to work. It is a little late. Alright, so I'm going to take the parking brake off, and we're going to taxi to runway 1, which is just behind us there. Turn this baby around. Probably not the most conventional way to taxi, but this is a simulator. Normally there's lines indicating where you want to go, just like this yellow line right here. Okay. Doesn't help that my pedal is hitting the wall right now. I can't steer very well. Let's see if I can adjust it as I'm taxiing. Okay. Looking good. This is about a normal taxi speed. I'm not going to worry about any of the CTAF or run up or anything like that. That is a simulation. Our altimeter is set to 50 feet. That is the altitude of this airport. So we're good. Double checking the gyroscopic situation here. Looks like everything is moving correctly. Okay. Need to give it a little bit more power here. Come on. Yeah, moving. 172. Alright, let's go. Yeah, when was the last time you saw a TBM land at Flying W Airport? Right. It's not very realistic. Alright, we're going to slow down just a little bit. I'm going to get on the runway. Traffic looks pretty calm today. Normally there's one or two other people with me. Alright. And we're lined up on the runway. Okay, flaps are up. Let's look at those T's and P's real quick. When I see, we got the pressure, oil pressure, fuel pressure, all of those are in the green. We're lined up at 10, lined up at, 01, and let's go. So, alright, T-speeds are green, airspeed is alive. We're going to rotate at about 55 and rotate. Very nice. Okay. Doing good. At about 400 feet, I'm going to start my departure. I'm going to turn to about 325. Turn very shallowly because there is a creek right up here that I want to follow. That'll put me on a perfect base leg for that runway that we're going to. We're climbing just at 80 miles an hour, just what I wanted to do. I think I'm going to bring it all the way up to about 1,200 feet. I don't have to go too hard. Alright, we're at about 325. I'm going to level off here. Bring the power back to 2300. 2300. And level off. You can see the creek just in front of me here. Where is it? Right here. I'm going to follow that up. And the airport is just over the river here. This is the river. It's just over the river there. We're gonna try to level. Oh, look at me talking to everybody. I am going to level off here. I want it to be at 1200. Alright. Let's level off. This trim is a little sensitive. When I say level off, I want this needle to be at 0. And it's all over the place. A little sensitive, but that's fine. We'll bring the power back just a little bit more. See if we can't slow down to 100. 100's where it's at. Alright. It'll stable out. But look at this view, huh? Okay. Looking good. Leveling off ever so slightly. I'm going to turn just so I'm on the right side of this creek. Here. Can you tell that we're going 100 miles an hour? Yeah. Let's see. No, I don't have the autopilot on at all. And look at that, I'm following that magenta line almost perfectly. That's crazy. Alright. Wings are level, we're at stable flight. I'd like to trim it down just a little bit. Push that nose down, then trim. Bring it back up. There we go, nice and level. At about 1400 feet. I wanted to be at 12, but that's fine. We're not talking to air traffic control and they're not telling us a specific altitude to be at, so we can just act like we meant for that to happen. Okay. Alright. Look at that creek. I don't know what's up with my graphics. They look a little cartoonish lately. Not very good. Oh well. Maybe one day I'll upgrade the graphics card, but not really important for what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to simply fly like it's real life. Other people go right for the 747s and unattainable aircraft, and so here's a road. This is where we want to really be on our baseline. This is the airport. So you can see there's a runway going that way, but there's also a runway going this way. It looks like a cross. And we're going to be landing on 24, which goes in that direction. You can see that 24 and 06 are like this. They actually number the runways, the direction you're pointing. So you'll be pointing in the 24 direction. So we'll be pointing over there. Let me go over towards... you'll see this road over here. You see the runway actually ends over here. So I want to be well over here to start my base. My base leg. I'm going to actually start descending just a little bit. And go over here, fly in this direction for a little bit, and then we'll establish ourselves on a nice base leg. So it goes, there's downwind, base, and final. We would normally come in on a downwind, turn our base, turn our final, but we're already pretty well established on base. And if I was talking to air traffic control, I'll be like, we are 2 miles to the northeast. 2 miles to the northeast, established on short base to runway 24. And they would give us instruction, be like, well, we need you to be on a downwind, so go on downwind, we'll extend it, then you can go on your base, and then you can go, depending on traffic. So, I don't actually have to be this far out. Let's see if you can see. The airport is over here. This is the tower. Let's see if you can see it. Here it is. The end of the runway, this is where we want to be. I'm going to start slowing down and stop talking. We're going to bring that, the RPMs down to about 1700. Start descending. But first I want to bleed some of that speed off. So I'm going to raise the nose just a tad, get it to about 80, put the first notch of flaps down. You'll see we want to be right here. So we were on our base, so we can add our second notch of flaps. That's where we want to be. And we'll start descending. Put the nose down and just start descending. We can see our runway. Runway's over there. We're at 80. We can start turning our shallow turn in just a second. We have plenty of room. Alright, let's start our turn. Here's our runway right there. We'll start our turn. We don't want to descend too great. We'll trim up. We want to go just inside these trees here. Alright. See if these rudder pedals actually work now. Alright, so we're going to put our third notch of flaps in once we're nice and level. Point our nose down. We're a little high, that's okay. It's a long runway. It's oscillating just a little bit. We don't want to do that. Okay. Trim up just a little bit. Let's point our nose towards the runway. We're at a good glide slope, which is 60 miles an hour. We're getting a little slow. Trying to pay attention to too many things. Sorry, there's other things going on in the room around me. Alright. Same for those numbers. Power to idle. We made the runway. And the runway's huge. Our airspeed's good. We don't need to look at that anymore. I'm going to go transition my eyes to the end of the runway. And pull up. Pull. That is a great landing for me anyway. Alright, so I'm going to put the flaps up. And we'll go full power again. Try to line up on that center line. Airspeed's alive. Engines and instruments are still in the green. 55 and rotates. I'm going to try to fly back. You can see people at work are already trying to message me. So I am going to try to do this as quickly as possible. About 400 feet, I'm going to start my turn back home. We're a little steep, that's okay. You can see the creek just in front of us there. Aim right towards it. We're climbing out at 80, 90. Perfect. I'm going to keep the speed up for our transition back. 1,000 feet. So I'm going to start leveling off. Good. That's good. Get a little bit more power. We just followed this all the way back. Like I said, not much of a flight. Again, I don't have much time. I'm trying to get to that 1,000 feet, and then I'm gonna, okay, let's bring that back just a tad. Trim down, keep that nose down. Try to keep it at 0. Alright, we'll go right there for now. Let's not trace the needles. Right now we're at what is it? 900 feet. We can afford to climb just a little bit. I'm going to pull back on the yoke, trim up just a tad. We're good. Just keep that just above that 0. Oh, we're oscillating. Right there, because we can afford to climb just a tad. Pattern altitude at my home airport, which is November 14, is 1,050 feet because our altitude when we were on the ground was 50 feet. So general rule of thumb is 1,000 feet above ground level at the airport, or they call it AGL. Look at this sunrise in New Jersey. Looks better in a video game, definitely. Only about 1,000 feet, that's fine. We're slowly descending, so I'm going to give it a little bit more juice. I don't want to be too low. Let's go for S. I don't know why it looks over there. We're getting pretty close to the Air Force Base. Normally we're not allowed to be that close. But again, it is a simulator. Okay. Let's bring the power back down. And look over towards the airport. Good. What is going on here? Okay. It's right over here. We can see it right there. So we're looking good. Wow, something is up with this. Alright, I'm going to start heading over towards the airport. Okay. You can see the airport's just over here. Here's the edge of the airport that we want to land at. So I'm a little low, so I'm not going to do anything too drastic right now. Just going to chill. We can look at the airport from here. We want to enter normally at a 45. They normally do right-hand pattern, left-hand patterns. It's either a right-hand pattern to 1 or a left-hand pattern to Alexa, stop. Alright, first notch of flaps, and we're going to trim down for that. Second notch of flaps, and we're going to trim down for that as well. Taking some of the power out. Let's, alright, we're a little high. Okay, power down, third notch of flaps. And we should be right at 70 or 65 by the time we settle. Good. Add a little bit of power. Avoid that little bush. Yep. And we are going to be landing powered idle. Eyes to the back of the runway. Rotated too long. Okay, come on. Alright. Good. Good landing. Wasn't on center line, but as you guys know, that's something I'm working on. Alright. Let's see if we can make this first turn off. Yes, we can. Okay. And we're going to turn off, and we say find other traffic. Says to 43 Mike Julia is clearly active. Watch out, man. I'm trying to park here. Alright. And then we could do our after landing checklist, which in the Viper is fuel pump off, trim set to neutral, and flaps up. But here we are in a Cessna, so all we're going to do is turn off all the switches and call it a day. Thanks for joining me, guys.